Yeah, anyone who claims that simply doesn't know how to read. All I've ever written on the issue of the resurrection is to repeat exactly what St. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15 and point out that he said it. This is known to any seminarian with a good New Testament teacher. I have said nothing radical on the matter. He believed that the body of flesh and blood would not be raised as a body of flesh and blood. He didn't say it wouldn't be physical. He believed in a body, but it would be composed of something called spirit, which for him is not a disembodied, anti-corporeal something. It's an actual element of nature. It's breath, wind, spirit, life, mind, and it has a kind of ethereal constitution. I have stated this with such absolute clarity, and I have pointed to the verses in which Paul explicitly says this without any shadow of ambiguity, that anyone who doesn't get the point is just a simpleton. I mean, this is not an issue. This is not even an interesting scholarly issue. There is absolutely no competent New Testament scholar who does not know this to be the case. It also fits, it simply is, he is a man of late antiquity. His metaphysics are largely Stoic, with a splash of what we would now think of as Middle Platonism. His categories differ from ours. But when he says flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven, that's what he means. When he says the body is an animal or psychical body that dies, but that what's raised is a pneumatic or spiritual body, differently constituted, devoid of flesh and blood, that's what he means. I have no theory about the resurrection of Jesus. I don't think it fits into the categories that we understand in terms of either physics or metaphysics, but definitely it has nothing, it certainly doesn't, I'm not denying a physical resurrection. I don't even know what that would mean, since resurrection obviously means the return, an embodied return. Now, for Paul, it's also quite possible that for him, resurrection also means ascent through the heavens. He doesn't distinguish the two. The spiritual body is raised from death and is also raised into the heavenly places. He seems to use the word anastasis and other terms as having that particular valence. I mean, of that broad spectrum of meanings. Paul is not hard to interpret on this. He never uses the word flesh in a benign way. For him, the mortal body of flesh and blood, the animal body, binds us to death. It cannot be redeemed. That is the metaphysics of his time. He takes it to be correct that the animal body is inherently mortal. Therefore, we will be transformed into something else in the twinkling of an eye. We become spiritually embodied. Our body is made of something else, the same thing that the bodies of angels are made from. And angels have bodies for Paul, as they do for all of the early Christians and for late antique Jewish and Christian thought. There's no such thing as anything wholly disembodied except God. Only God transcends corporeality in an absolute sense in early Christian thought.